It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Jamie is a leading Tampa Bay real estate agent and featured on the Wall Street Journal's list of top 100 real estate agents in the nation. Jamie invites you to list your home with him today and learn more at tampabayradio.com. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Meloni.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. It's Tech Thursdays also now, where we talk to CEO out of Alpha Computing Solutions, Nick Paris, and you can learn more about this over at alphacomputing.com or pick up the phone and give him a call at 813-839-7671 over at extension 100. Again, 813-839-7671. He handles the IT needs of my office and many others. So, Nick, welcome back to the program today.
Jamie, thank you very much.
So we're going to be talking a little bit today about the Republicans' stance on IT. We talked last time about the Democratic stance, and interestingly enough, I didn't even know there was a platform from the parties on IT information and all that stuff, technology. So we'll be talking about the Republicans' side and platform on that today. But first, I want to kind of just get an update on what's going on with Frontier. I had an outage myself for about 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
They came in, changed out my router because I wasn't using the Verizon/Frontier router, and that seemed to fix the problem. But what are you seeing out there with your clients these days?
Again, it's rather spotty. I think they're doing a lot of updates now to their system, but they're doing it overnight. So we're getting alerts where we're seeing servers going down and all that sort of stuff. But the reality is, it's not the actual server; it's the actual internet. So for us, it kind of looks like the same. Suddenly, the system is not accessible to us. So we're seeing a lot of that happening now overnight, and I think that's what they're doing. They're trying to update.
How's the customer service been? And is there a difference between? I have a business account, but I hear a lot of like personal accounts. Like it'll be like they'll wait for a few days and nobody shows up, or they got out there. I mean, I was out in Puerto Rico, so my staff didn't request anybody to come help. I got back to the office and said, we need to request a technician, and they came out the same day. So I was a little worried about that when we had to request somebody.
I think it's getting better, but I think we're still seeing issues with long delays and things like that. It's not. I got to tell you, if they came same day, that's really great.
They did, yeah.
But there's a lot of instances where it's taking time.
That's why I was wondering if there's a difference in the priority between the business accounts and like the homeowners, for instance.
I think they're giving a little bit of preference to the consumer side. I mean, I'm sorry, the commercial side. Yeah.
The commercial side of things,
right.
So but my issue was somehow also related to my router, but it was out too. But I was using my router for a specific reason because I manage my server inside, and I remember when we set that up originally, the router that we used originally didn't allow what my prior guy said was a loop back. Yeah, right. And so I couldn't log into my server from within my own network, and so I was afraid by switching to their router that I was going to have that issue. But it seems to be working okay.
Yeah, those kind of things now are taken care of. But on the other hand, I did have a client that it did take them 2 or 3 days to kind of get. They had the same thing. Their router just blew up. I mean, just wouldn't turn on, wouldn't do anything. So, they called me up. I went out there, and sure enough,
I've been through a few routers, and it's plugged into a surge protector,
and that's what his was too. And nothing else happened.
It actually exploded.
Yeah, with these lightning storms we get in the afternoon. It was after one of the storms that everything went down. So.
I asked him. I said, "Was it stormy or everything?" He said, "No." He said, "I just came in this morning, and it was off, and it was black. I mean, there were no lights. There was nothing." So, sure enough, we had to try to get him a router.
I've been through at least 3 or 4 routers. I don't know. They're a magnet for lightning strikes or something.
Well, they're kind of the first line. I mean, everything goes through those things. So you got to kind of really
better that than your PC or something though, or your PlayStation.
Yeah, and I've lost a couple printers. Fortunately, I've never lost a computer yet. I mean, I've got everything inside surge protectors, but they get through those surge protectors sometimes too. So
if it gets really bad, my recommendation to my clients is just, if you're leaving for the day, unplug it. Just unplug it from the wall.
And that's about all you can do.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, at that point, it's just a standalone piece of equipment.
Isn't there something called a brownout that can ruin your PC equipment and your router and stuff like that?
Yeah, because it still is up.
A lot of people don't believe me that that's a real thing. When I tell them a brownout, they're like, no, that doesn't happen.
No, brownouts actually exist, yeah.
And it's just, these storms that we get here in Tampa, I mean, they're scary, I'm always afraid every time I see one, like, oh man, I hope my computer doesn't get fried and everything. That speaks to the importance of having off-site backup. One of the services that Alpha Computing Solutions can help you with as well. You have the, what's it called? AlphaSync.
We got AlphaSync, and we also have a disaster recovery option again that will fully protect all servers and workstations.
Yeah, so very important to have that in your IT plan.
And we're
over at your office.
co-located here in Tampa and in our facility in Dallas. So anything happens here, we've got everybody covered again by being 1,000 miles away.
Very nice. So even if like an asteroid hit us over here and wiped out Tampa, you're still covered.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so instead of skating by the skin of your teeth and high-fiving the rainbow when it comes out after rain, if people call Nick, you can be prepared ahead of time.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the Republican platform on technology. We talked about the Democratic platform last Tech Thursdays. Tell us a little bit about the Republican stance.
Has politics corrupted everything?
I didn't even realize technology was part of their platform.
Well, it's pretty interesting. As I mentioned last time with the Democratic side, there was a lot of information regarding their stance on technology and their platform. However, on the Republican side, it's almost like crickets. There's almost nothing that they talk about. I mean, they talk about it every now and again, but they don't have what I saw as a clearly defined, okay, this is what we think technology ought to be doing, and this is what it is. This is how we see it, working for the country. And so I was very surprised about that. They almost look like they're uninspired by technology. They don't. It's like they don't see that that's an important issue. And obviously, from somebody from my camp, it is an important issue.
And the Democrats have embraced the use of technology, as we saw with Hillary Clinton, the off-site email server and all that issues.
Yeah, right.
I mean, can that be attributed to most Republicans being a little more into religion and spiritual lifestyles rather than technology?
Yeah, I think that they view other issues as being more important.
Right.
And so they don't...
Not to couple religion with politics with...
Right, but they've got that more conservative side, and they're more concerned about some of the other issues than they are technology.
Yeah, and generally speaking, Republicans are more traditional values. Democrats are more progressive. I remember we discussed in the last segment that Democrats are committed to free Wi-Fi, something that a lot of us probably think will eventually happen. We'll probably eventually be able to walk wherever.
Hopefully, because I'm sick of going to McDonald's to get free Wi-Fi. Hotels are expensive.
And but I don't know. The Republicans do not have a stance on nationwide Wi-Fi.
No, they don't. They don't have something like that. And they I think they see that infrastructure is important. But a lot of what I was finding was from their platform from 2012. I couldn't find anything on I couldn't even find the 2016 platform. So I found that a little disheartening. I was really hoping that there would be kind of this back and forth about technology and all that, but I just really couldn't find anything. And so that was something I was hoping would be the case.
Now, Donald Trump is known for saying kind of outlandish and crazy things at times, but I know he mentioned he talked about closing out parts of the internet back in December in a debate. You know what he meant by that? Or
I have absolutely no idea what he was talking about when he was talking about closing parts of the internet. I thought, what in the world are you talking about? What parts are you talking about closing, and how do you imagine that? If he was talking about like overseas powers that are not friendly to the United States. Well, how in the world did he figure that was going to happen? There's just no way. We don't have that kind of influence. I mean, we can control what's going on in our borders, and we can control what comes in, but we certainly can't go to like Syria or somewhere like that and say, okay, well, we're just going to turn off the internet there. That just doesn't work. It just doesn't work that way.
Well, isn't there something like where in other countries they can't see American content and vice versa? Isn't there some sort of a block?
Well, that's what I was saying. Like for some of our clients, we put in firewalls, and the firewalls that we put in actually ask, do they do business outside of the United States? And if they don't, if they're not expecting emails outside of the United States, we actually can block traffic from outside of the U.S., which helps to kind of curb the viruses and curb the attacks and things of that nature.
Right.
So that's what I was saying. We can kind of control what's going on within our borders, but we can't go over to somebody else's country and turn off their internet. I mean, that just and I don't know exactly what he meant. I'm not even sure that he knew what he meant. So
yeah, his little quips are taking up so much of the news cycles these days, including his the latest one that's making the rounds.
Well, and the thing about Russia,
the Second Amendment
well,
comment.
the thing about Russia and hey, I hope they attack Hillary's email servers. I thought. What again? What are you talking about? That's just that was a bad thing to say. I mean, everybody in the IT industry, we all just took a gasp. It was like, what? What is he talking about?
One of my favorite descriptions that I heard a reporter make of Donald Trump is they said that it's like he sits around and watches TV and reacts and immediately tweets whatever he sees without.
He
filtering.
thinks what comes to his head. And I was listening to a discussion today. He doesn't work off of a teleprompter. He just fires from the hip. And he was making fun of Hillary Clinton because she uses it, and pretty much everybody does use a teleprompter. It's tough to give speeches and not draw blanks. Or like, I don't know what I'm talking about. You got to have that teleprompter at that level, and because it's just so much pressure. But he's able to do it without one. But he makes a lot of mistakes.
So that you don't seem like you're shooting from the hip. That's why they do that.
He makes those at the bar type of comments on the national stage.
Oh my God. That's the best way to describe it too. At the bar. You got to be drunk to understand what he's saying anyway.
Yeah. He needs to learn the difference between speaking on a national stage and speaking over at the with the boys at the bar. So now which platform is more geared towards protecting the privacy of citizens, the Americans?
The Republicans seem like they are concerned about cybersecurity, which is a good thing. But again, that was a platform from 2012, which I'm assuming probably hasn't changed. They probably still have that same sort of stance. But I think as far as privacy is concerned, I think they're a little bit more concerned right now about being able to listen in on conversations and things of that nature, bulk back up their ability to gather data on citizens.
How viable is free Wi-Fi across the country? We talked about that. That's a stance of the Democratic platform. I mean, how viable is that? Just from an infrastructure standpoint and a cost standpoint.
Infrastructure standpoint, very viable. I mean, that's not an issue at all. It's the cost. It's what is it going to cost to get that accomplished, and the speed at which technology changes is so fast. You also almost wonder, by the time they get that accomplished, will it be outdated by the time the project is even halfway through?
I don't see why they can't work it into your cell phone bill, much like they do with data. I mean, eventually Wi-Fi will replace data, right?
Well, the problem is not so much Wi-Fi like that, like on your cell phone. They're talking about Wi-Fi in public places, like you were talking about, like hotels and things of that nature. What they called anchor institutions. Schools,
we're going to talk about
educational, that kind of stuff.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about technology in education when we come back from the break. Talking to Nick Parris, CEO of Alpha Computing Solutions, and you can learn more over at alphacomputing.com or give his office a call for all of your IT needs at 813-839-7671, extension 100, 813-839-7671. You're listening to the Tech Thursdays edition of That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today or visit BillMeyerHam.com. That's BillMeyerHam.com. Have a conversation. How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today. What's up, business rock stars? Are you ready to bring out the CEO in you? Join Julianne Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, every other Friday on That Business Show. She'll be talking with other chief entrepreneurial officers about how they grew their businesses. Remember, you could join the conversation at Focus on You Strategies Focus Fridays Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. That's facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. Be the CEO of you.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas, unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else, and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
At Vein 911, we will help you feel great again. Do you have restless legs, night leg cramps, or ankle swelling? Restless legs, cramping, swelling, and tired heavy legs are often symptoms of hidden vein disease. You do not have to have visible bulging veins to have the symptoms of vein disease. The vein care specialists at Vein 911 are uniquely qualified to evaluate and treat your veins. Are you unhappy with your previous vein treatment? Vein 911 succeeds where others fail. Call Vein 911 today at 855-VEIN-911. That's 855-834-6911 to book your free consultation. Vein 911. We will help you feel great again.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Morning crash on northbound 49th Street at US 19. It is approaching US 19 in the right-hand lane. Also seeing some delays in the southbound direction. You cannot turn left onto southbound US 19 at this location because of where the crash is. Also, southbound US 19 is slow throughout Clearwater from Enterprise to around Bel Air. Crash off to the right-hand side there. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uter, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by SOS Children's Villages. War, poverty, and disaster have left millions of children around the world orphaned, abandoned, alone. When their parents can't be there, SOS Children's Villages is there in 134 countries, including the U.S. To make a difference in a child's life, go to sosusa.org.
Today, mostly sunny with a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, high 91. Tonight, rain ends, low 77. Tomorrow, a 40% rain chance, high 91.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
And we're back to the Tech Thursdays edition of That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. In studio with Nick Paris, CEO of Alpha Computing Solutions. Learn more at alphacomputing.com. Nick, technology and education becoming more and more center these days. Tell us a little bit about this.
Jamie, that's a good thing. I think we wanted to mention one thing before we got started with that, though. I think we brought up a good point during the break that, we're not really, at least I'm not. I'm not promoting one side or the other.
Yes.
I know we were kind of
politically down the middle.
Yeah, we're politically down the middle, especially when you talk about technology. I was kind of really hoping that that both sides would have an educated conversation about this, but it doesn't seem like there's kind of that sort of response from the Republicans, and that's unfortunate. But no, I think for this conversation, for the technology side, I'm neutral. I mean, I really kind of want some good solutions to come out of a good dialogue. So.
Yeah, if nothing else, it's giving everybody a good laugh, but it's at the expense of our country, unfortunately.
Right. Absolutely.
But,
and we need solutions that are going to be viable, especially when you talk about technology, because it is so important to our economy and everything moving forward.
Absolutely.
So. Besides, if Trump loses, he's going to be like, look how far I got. And it was highly entertaining. It was scary for some people, I'm sure, but
he'll get another reality show out of it. Yeah, and it'll be very lucrative to his wallet, obviously.
I didn't even think about a reality show.
It'll be another reality show.
Absolutely.
They're probably filming like crazy. It'll be a reality show about his campaign or something.
Right.
It's being planned, I'm sure, as a backup. So,
but technology, I've been finding is being used more and more in education. I mean, the more we turn around and we look at it, things are changing in the classroom almost daily. We've picked up at Alpha Computing Solutions. We picked up a new client over in a charter school over in Clearwater, Pinellas West Coast Academies, and they are almost exclusively technology based. They have books and things like that, but there's very few. It's not like when I went to school and that's all we had were books. I mean, now it's a lot of computers. Each room looks like a computer lab, and they have Chromebooks and iPads and things like that. So
I often wonder how they're doing their research papers these days. Are they citing just all electronic sources? Are they actually going to the library and researching like we did in school?
At this particular school, they're not. They have no library. It's all online, and the teachers teach that way. They have all the stuff that they're looking for is online, and so. There's a lot of good things that come from that. And I was actually there yesterday. It was their first day of school, and I wanted to make sure that the technology, everything was working okay. Because in that specific instance, it's very important. I mean, if the school has any kind of warble as far as technology goes, they can't teach.
No, is it the same for public schools as it is for private schools in this area?
I think that public schools are a little bit behind as far as that's concerned. The private schools seem to be a little bit more ahead of that as far as technology goes. I have a very dear friend that teaches at St. John's Episcopal here in Tampa, and she's very well respected, and I respect her opinion and everything. And we talk a lot about how technology is being used in the classroom there. And it is different than in the public schools. The public schools, I think, don't have the funding that they do in private schools.
Yeah, the public schools aren't too far behind, though, because my 7-year-old daughter is flying through the internet much faster than I did at 23.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And there's just so much good, research that can be found in the libraries and in the books, but it's going to be, everything's going to be online, but there's so much information that's not available online, but the kids today, you aren't going to convince them of that.
Well, and it becomes a matter of space, unfortunately. When you start looking at having a large room where all you do is put books in there and you have to keep them up to date, it becomes a matter of, we could actually get more students in there, and from a private school perspective, that's dollars. I mean, the more students you get, the more the school makes.
So you think this is a good thing, though, that the schools are moving more and more to technology and away from traditional books? I mean, it's impacting the social skills of the individuals
absolutely.
as well, too.
And what I'm seeing, I'm seeing more actually commercials for homeschooling, which is surprising me. But that's being brought about because of technology. As you get more and more higher speed internets in the home and better internets in the schools, then you're going to have more students that are at home. My fear, as you said, is that we lose some social skills by not interacting with other students and other people on a daily basis. There's things you learn not from a computer and not from a teacher or anything like that, but just being part of a class, being part of 20 or 40 or 60 or 100 or whatever other students in your grade where you've got to interact with them and you've got to learn things. So while computers and books and all that are great, I think that not having that interactivity between students, I think you lose something.
And then the schools that are being replaced with the books are being replaced with tablets. You said private schools primarily, right?
Right.
Are the kids then, are they buying the tablets and they become their tablets, or are they being recycled between the students?
There's been both plans. In some instances, the tablets remain the school's property, and it just sort of stays there, and the school and the students just kind of share them. In some instances, I think like at St. John's, they actually it becomes part of their tuition, and it becomes the students. And so they go from there and they sign them out. And if they break them, they bought them. So, they've got to get another.
Every generation has, something that they like to differentiate themselves from other generations. Right now, the millennials and the younger generations are really embracing technology. You wonder if future generations will kind of go back to the older traditions of away from technology. Do you see that in the future?
I don't know. I think it will have to depend on what we learn from this of moving away from books and things like that, and even moving away from classrooms. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see how that experiment goes. One of the other things that I was when I was doing research for this when I learned was that we're also losing dexterity skills. We're losing the ability to draw and use our hands to manipulate things, because that's some of the things that you learn, again, when you're in a classroom and you're taking those penmanship classes and you're learning how to write. You learn how to use your hands to do things, to build and all that sort of stuff. And we've moved away from that.
Currently talking again to Nick Paris, CEO of Alpha Computing Solutions, on this Tech Thursdays edition of That Business Show. Jamie Meloni, and we'll be back in a moment.
Hi, I'm Kelly Ham from Billmeyer Ham Consulting. Did you know that one of the biggest challenges that leaders face is getting their employees to be engaged, motivated, and producing amazing business results? At Billmeyer Ham Consulting, we'll help you transform your workforce culture from one that might be underperforming, maybe mediocre, to achieving amazing business results. You see, we realize that your workforce culture is equally as important as your business plan and your business strategy. The two must be aligned in order for you to reach your desired business and financial goals.
Carol,
hey Jim.
I just got this plan that could really help with our process here.
Okay, why don't you just have a seat and let's go over it.
Let us help you transform your workforce culture by leveraging your most important assets, your people. I want to know what's going on in your organization. Let us help you transform your workforce culture. Let's have a conversation.
I feel guilty that I can't always be there when Mom feels stuck at home. She was always there for us. But now she can't get out, and I'm not always available to take her places. Someone else needs to help her get around. Then I learned about Home Instead. Now Mom can do what she enjoys because her personal caregiver is there, and I can just be a daughter again.
Are you struggling to care for your loved one? We can help. Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
We're Hampson Uter, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Bill Curry Ford.
Things that seem to take longer than buying a car at Bill Curry Ford. Waiting in line for your morning coffee. Waiting in the grocery deli line.
Buying a vehicle should be an enjoyable experience, and that's why we respect your time. Only at Bill Curry Ford.
1250 winds, weather center forecast. Partly sunny skies today. Morning sunshine, increasing clouds throughout the day. 50% chance of scattered showers and storms. Low 90s for the high. Upper 70s for the low. Forecast about the same for tomorrow. Rain chance a little higher than into the weekend, down to 40%. 90 for the high. Impact Radio 1250 winds, WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
And welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Learn more about the program over at TampaBayRadio.com. And also keep in mind, we're in partnership with the Tampa Bay business owners, so I'd like to extend an invite to all the Tampa Bay business owners out there in the community to learn more about the organization. Request a sit down with either myself or one of our sales people to learn how the organization can help you grow and collaborate and learn from other business owners in the Tampa Bay region. We do a lot of different events each and every month, and also that business show is going to move more and more to be a TBBO-centric program. So got big plans for the radio show and for the Tampa Bay business owners. So definitely want to sit down and talk with me or one of my salespeople about that. We'll be rolling out that package here and the marketing for that here very soon. But the show has really just exploded in the area in terms of reaching business owners and the community, and it will get you excellent exposure by being a member of the Tampa Bay business owners, and again working hand in hand with that business show. So take advantage of the opportunity and help grow your business. Learn more over at TampaBayRadio.com. Talking to Nick Paris. He is the CEO of Alpha Computing Solution, and he's also a TBBO member and a regular contributor here to that business show. Learn more about him over at alphacomputing.com. So, Nick, we're talking about technology and education, and running into the break there, we're talking about how computers and technologies is changing the culture, is changing the mindset of the youth of today, and even some of the adults and the seniors. I mean, technology has really impacted our society. The loss of dexterity skills, as you were talking about, as another talking point going into that break.
Well, early on in my career, I actually taught at a vocational school here in town, and I taught computer-aided drafting. And that was about 20 years ago when that was really starting to be a big thing. And a lot of the population that I was teaching were people in their 50s and 60s that had gotten replaced, and they were no longer drafting. They weren't doing the hand drafting that we used to do, and they needed CAD skills. And so they were coming in droves, and the school hired me because they needed teachers. And at that point, I realized, again, we're losing something. We're losing that ability to just use your hands. And even now, I'm noticing that, the Surface, Microsoft Surface has got commercials out there where they're showing people drawing on these surfaces. And that's just a different way to do it, but you're losing that medium. There's a difference between writing on paper and drawing on paper and doing all that and using that versus drawing on a computer.
But don't you think going paperless can help the environment a little bit better,
Absolutely. I certainly do. But on the other hand, again, if you're all you're doing is interacting with a computer, you lose something. You just lose that ability to process all that stuff like you do in the real world.
You remember cursive writing? I wonder if that's going to die as a script for Americans here, because nobody writes in cursive anymore. Do they even teach cursive in school
I was
anymore?
just going to say to you, I know that at St. John's they do teach cursive.
They do? Okay.
They still have that as a class, because I think they understand that you still need that dexterity. You still need to know how to do that. Do they expect the kids to use it when they leave? Probably not.
Nobody uses cursive.
Yeah,
everybody
not.
prints. I don't know. I guess cursive it's supposed to be faster to write in cursive than print.
No, I don't print. I
Do
write.
you use cursive?
I
Okay.
use cursive. I use kind of a form of cursive. But yeah, I don't print. I find it faster. Now, I hate to say this. If I have my druthers, I'd rather type on the computer than actually use my hand, because my handwriting is horrible. But again, that's kind of one of those things.
Are they teaching cursive in the public school system?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
It could be.
And what happened to shorthand? Remember that was a little bit before my time. I wasn't taught shorthand, but that was also to speed up your writing and your note taking skills.
Right.
I know. I receive most of my receipts and bills, and a lot of this stuff is emailed. So I mean, and then they thank you for going paperless a lot of the time too. But my fear is that in terms of records keeping, if you lose a hard drive and it's not backed up by paper or something like that, or you didn't back that drive up, that information's just gone.
Right.
So what about typing? Do they teach typing? I remember that was taught to us in 7th grade. It was a required course. Are kids being taught typing? Is that mandatory these days?
One of the secretaries at my client's office said her son is taking a typing class, and he's in like 7th grade or something. So I thought that was interesting.
Who needs it when most people communicate on Facebook and stuff like that? They learn typing by default.
Now with these voice to phone features, you don't need to type anymore. So as that technology improves more and more,
well, that has helped me because I'm a horrible texter. So now I just talk into the phone and let it do the typing.
I'm almost like Jamie. Keep beating on your computer screen and keep things old school for a little bit. You know what I mean?
So, but yeah, I mean, you almost have to learn typing, and you almost have to learn texting is another form of typing right there. And so, but with the voice to text feature, then more and more people are going to lose that skill, and we're going to become robots. And what's that Terminator thing? What is that?
Skynet. Skynet's going to take over.
Skynet's going to take over.
I got a better suggestion. I think we're all going to end up mental telepaths and just communicate by looking at each other like Star Trek
absolutely
aliens or something.
Hey, we all evolved, right? It would be interesting if we could fast forward like 1,000 years to see how technology evolves us as humans, but it takes so many thousands of years to see the results of that.
I'll turn right around if I see everybody looks like Borgs.
Well, and the other thing that I think that we're losing by the homeschooling and technology and all that is the ability to communicate. I've got one client that strictly communicates through Facebook. He's always private messaging me and all that, and it's so frustrating because the communications that he sends to me are incomplete. Half the time I spend myself looking at what he sent me and thinking, what in the world were you trying to tell me? Yeah. And then finally I just get so frustrated. I pick up the phone and I call him. I'm like, what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to get across to me? Because you're wasting my time.
And then he replies, oh, I butt emailed you.
Yeah.
I've had that happen where somebody sends me an email and it's just a bunch of gibberish, and it's because they didn't realize when they stuffed their phone back in their pocket, it was still recording.
And we are seeing the death of the phone and voicemail. More and more people do not answer the phone. More and more people don't check their voicemail. No.
I had one client tell me that specifically. He says, I'm not going to check my voicemail anymore. He goes, so I want you to figure out something to do with what people, when they call me, what's going to happen. And I'm like, you don't want voicemail at all? He goes, no. He goes, I will never check my voicemail again.
It's getting to a point to where you have to ask your clients or your friends, how do you want me to communicate with you?
Right.
Do you want text? Do you want phone? Do you want a Facebook message, direct message from Twitter? Which form of communication do you need me to communicate with?
Well, yesterday we talked about Facebook and how easy it's made a lot of different things. One of them is Messenger. I think that's what you said your problem was, is that the guy wants to PM you all the time.
That's all he wants to do.
Messenger is just so helpful. I mean, you can take care of, because it couples on the phone when you have the Messenger app, it factors in all of your regular text messages as well as your not email yet, but your PMs. So a lot of the times I can't figure out if I'm texting or I'm PMing somebody actually.
And that's fine, but I think when you do that, whatever medium you're going to use, make it intelligent. Make it intelligible so that
use grammar.
The other person can understand. I mean, it's not even like grammar. He would stop in the middle of a sentence, and you're. What?
Yeah, and language evolves too. So that's what I'm saying. If we could fast forward 1,000 years and watch how technology evolves us, language is going to be affected too.
We'll all be speaking in clicks.
I myself, I'm an email person. I'll be honest. I use the phone, but I'm not a big fan of the phone. It's because the sound of the phone irritates me. So I always sound like I'm moody when I answer the phone, but it's the sound of the phone. It just puts me in an irritable mood. So I like to email myself. Other people like text a lot.
Well, with email, you can prove somebody wrong a lot faster because you have all of them saved.
Right. That's why I don't like text, because I can't keep my text organized. And is there a good platform out there to keep text organized like you can, like with Outlook and email?
No, I think texts are. I mean, they're trying to come up with some apps to do that, but I mean, really,
that's why I like email.
Kind of the best. Yeah. And for me, email works a lot better because when I do projects, it helps me keep track of what needs to be done on a project, and I can go back to my email and say, okay, you wanted me to do 8 things. I've done the first 6. I've still got these other 2.
Same here.
Other 2 to do. So it really helps. In a text, I don't keep text forever. I mean, I keep a text for a short period of time, and then I just blow them out. I delete them.
So another reason why I like email, ease of sorting and going back for the information. Nick, a couple minutes left here. Let's talk a little bit about your business and your services that you offer over at Alpha Computing Solutions again.
Well, we're a managed service provider here in Tampa, Florida, and we're fortunate enough that our business is such that most of our business has become over the internet. We provide remote help desk and things of that nature, and we're able to do that remotely, so we don't necessarily have to be right near the client. And a lot of the other services we provide are web-based. Well, we were talking about earlier, the disaster recovery. That's a big one. I truly believe in that, and we spent a lot of money building out the infrastructure to be able to handle that for our clients and client well.
Right.
It allows us to back up servers and also spin them up if a disaster happens, so that if somebody's building gets wiped out, we can actually spin up a virtualized copy of that within minutes. So within minutes, they can have their office back up and running and hardly miss a beat. So that's one of the big ones for us. But we also do things like print services and phone services and things of that nature.
Reach out to them at alphacomputing.com or on the phone 813-839-7671 extension 100. Nick, as always, man, appreciate the support on the program.
Thank you very much, Jamie.
And again, CEO of Alpha Computing Solutions. Learn more, alphacomputing.com. Coming back from a break, we're going to talk with Vicki Buck, owner of the Pilates Group here in the Tampa Bay region. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. Rick Taseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project. In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Savvy business owners utilize technology to connect with customers, communicate among teams, and collaborate with partners. Even with advances in technology, you all know it's not infallible. Where do you turn when your technology starts working against you? Who do you depend on to keep your team productive? Don't wait until your technology fails you. Get ahead of the crisis and contact the professionals at Alpha Computing Solutions so they can show you how to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit them online at www.alphacomputing.com.
Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today or visit BillMeyerHam.com. That's BillMeyerHam.com. Have a conversation. What's up, business rock stars? Are you ready to bring out the CEO in you? Join Julianne Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, every other Friday on That Business Show. She'll be talking with other chief entrepreneurial officers about how they grew their businesses. Remember, you could join the conversation at Focus on You Strategies Focus Fridays Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. That's facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. Be the CEO of you.
From the RP Funding Traffic Network.
Crash at Pinellas Park on northbound 49th Street approaching US 19 in the right-hand lane. Also still have those big delays on southbound 19 from before Gulf to Bay to around Bel Air. Crash off to the right-hand side there. Crash in Tampa on Causeway and 50th, and also still some slow traffic on southbound Veterans Expressway just south of Gun Highway to Waters. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson, Utica, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. There's a girl in El Salvador who dreams of becoming an engineer. There's an elder in Uganda who dreams of having a community to call his own. No two dreams are the same. Help one person achieve theirs at unbound.org. That's unbound.org.
Today, mostly sunny with a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, high 91. Tonight, rain ends, low 77. Tomorrow, a 40% rain chance, high 91.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
And welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 here on Tampa Bay's 1250 Wins WHNZ. And also you can pick up the live stream over at TampaBayRadio.com. Time to bring in my next guest for the program, and she was with me in the 7 o'clock hour as well. It's Vicki Buck, owner of the Pilates Group. Learn more about this over at pilatesgroup.com, and be sure to drop the O in group, right? G-R-U-P, pilatesgroup.com. So, Vicki, welcome back to the program again.
Thanks.
And we're going to continue the theme a little bit here at the Tech Thursdays, and she works on Pilates here and how technology comes into play with Pilates and movements and things like that.
Yeah.
How do you work with all us office guys who come in, they're all discombobulated because we're hunched over our desks and everything all day?
You bring up a lot of good points, because technology does have a major impact on the way that we hold ourselves in space these days. So think about how much time you spend hunched over your computer. Think about the time that you then exacerbate that spending on social media sites where your thumbs are just going, your head is cocked forward, and then our spines are not happy. So in Pilates, we're always working on our posture, and we think about things like, oh, maybe it's better if I actually hold my phone up a little bit while I'm working on those Facebook posts or Instagram feeds.
We're talking about how technology is going to evolve the human being over the next thousands of years, and
we're going to become Borgs.
But we're going to have that spine curvature. Our necks are going to slope down. All that stuff's going to.
The caveman poster is starting to evolve back to the way that it was.
That's what's going to happen. So you got to reach out
it's
to Vicki.
It's happening sooner than later on this show. I mean, Jamie's over there pounding on his monitor with his fist and stuff.
Yeah, well, I am looking at the way you guys are sitting right now, by the way.
Oh yeah, I'm hunched over.
I have straight up.
I have a terrible posture, and to sit up straight, I have to force myself. You over there look nice and perky and all straight and in line.
I'm trying, but that's my job. I think about it, but I do think about those things like, Jamie, you're sitting with one leg crossed over the other right now. Is that true? Do you sit like that pretty often?
I sit Indian style too. I'm Indian style right now.
Are you really? How do you sit like that?
I get that a lot. I'm flexible like that. Yeah, I can sit Indian style in a chair.
Yeah, that's funny.
And so I have some double joints, and
I
can
do backflips too.
No, I can do some funky things. Like I can bend my fingers back all the way too, like this. I guess that's pretty rare too. So
you are pretty mobile.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that one
day.
We're
gonna have to put a graphic content sticker on this one.
Yeah, for people that are listening, but I can bend my fingers back almost to touch the back of my wrist, where most people's fingers don't have that joint.
That's not something
down.
you can learn doing Pilates, is it?
I'm hypermobile. Then there's the term.
Hypermobile is okay, but you have to be able to balance that with strength too, because then you're just as susceptible to injuries as somebody that doesn't have any flexibility. So in Pilates, we talked about one of the principles being balance, and that's balance between flexibility and balance between strength. So
for the people out there that are suffering from that technology droop and the curvature, I mean, what are some movements that they can do to kind of help bring the spine and their body back in line to counteract those postures or those positions?
Yeah, great question. So since we spend so much time in a rounded forward position, it's fantastic to do exercises like Cobra from yoga. We do exercises with extension. It's called extension in your spine, when you reverse the spine's curve and kind of look like a back bending motion. Those motions are fantastic. One thing that we do need to think about when we're doing those kinds of extensions, though, is that you're always looking for length. Gravity on a day-to-day basis is always putting compound pressure downwards into the spine, so you can kind of picture how the spine shrinks because of gravity. So if you're doing exercises, you want to think about lengthening the spine upwards towards the ceiling, and then again, adding in those kinds of extensions will help reverse that hunched forward posture that we do. Even just taking a moment during your day to rotate your spine is fantastic, because that's not something that we get, but your spine should be able to move in that direction, a rotational movement.
Is that where you kind of twist yourself in the chair and do this
absolutely.
movement?
Yeah, and again, as you do that, you want to think about lengthening so that you're decompressing the space between the discs.
So the age-old technique of standing is still useful then.
Yeah, I'm wondering when you guys, the next time that I come back, you guys are going to have the standing desk.
You were doing that for a while. The show after ours, Dr.
I did it for about 3 months.
Yeah, they went on a standing only show kick, but I see how he's sitting again. Did he burn out on that?
Sitting's the new smoking, right?
Is he?
Sure. I don't smoke or drink, so I guess I gotta have some.
You can have your vices sitting.
Did Dr. Gartko go away from the standing too on his end?
Well, he has a better reason because he has to see the monitor, and the camera where he moved to see the monitor, the camera doesn't look right. So he sat, but I just got lazy. I'll be honest.
And standing, unbeknownst to many people, burns so many more calories over the course of a year, and it's beneficial. Just standing at a desk versus sitting at a desk makes a huge difference.
Makes your butt look 10 times better.
Yeah. And it burns like 5 or 10 pounds worth of calories over the course of a year.
That's one of the more interesting ways of being told that we need to work on our butts.
So that's your butts to look better.
That's your selling point to your clients. Then stand to make your butt look better. Then right.
Absolutely. There's of course the vanity benefits that you'll get, or the aesthetic benefits that you'll get from Pilates, but really structurally in your bodies, Pilates is fantastic.
I would say my girlfriend says my butt looks good enough, but that's about the same as saying that my grandma thinks I'm great on the radio. So
good enough sounds like 4th place in the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
So does Pilates always focus on the spine? I know we've talked in the 7 o'clock hour, and you've mentioned the spine and the alignment of the spine a lot. Is that core to what Pilates is, or is that just what we've been talking about?
Absolutely. It's one of the major components of Pilates is how your spine is placed, and being able to stabilize your spine in some exercises and being able to mobilize your spine in some instances. So you can picture someone who gets a lot older and they become hunched forward and they just don't have that same pliability in their spine anymore. They look older. So that's because they haven't been constantly moving their spine. You can picture a kid that just is very, very pliable and very movable, and they have that youthfulness about them. So in Pilates, we're always working on mobility in your spine, as well as being able to stabilize. Because for the same thing, being hypermobile in your fingers, you don't want your spine to just be able to move without strength.
Well, how do you explain the massive underbite and the small forehead?
want me to answer that?
I stumped her. Finally, I stumped her.
You want me to answer that?
Now, if you're listening to her in the 7 o'clock hour, she was telling the story of how she started her business in the garage.
Secret Ninja School.
It was originally called Garage Pilates, and she's grown this into a business 3 years later with many clients, with a brick and mortar location outside of a neighborhood, and doing tremendous with this. What's the vision? What's the future of your business look like now? What direction are you going?
Yeah, so we're excited because we're looking towards opening up an additional studio in St. Pete. And we also want to connect more with other Pilates studios and yoga studios. We want to do more in the community and be able to offer Pilates in the park, by the Vinoy Park, or at Curtis Hickson Riverfront. So we want to do more community outreach so that we have less of those people that we encounter that say, is Pilates just a ball?
No pun intended, Rick.
Is a ball involved in Pilates? Is that where Rick gets that from?
There can be a ball involved in Pilates, surely.
Yeah, our photographer
totally
Rick learned today that Pilates was an actual art or exercise form, and it's not.
Don't feel bad, Rick. I thought you were talking about like a ball that people go to and dance and stuff.
It's not a gay love
There you go.
either.
There we learned some from Josh too. So what do you attribute your growth and your success to over these last 3 years?
Well, we talked earlier about how I had to start the business on a very, very lean budget, and it really helped me focus on what was important in our business, and that's really that service is our best and our biggest asset. So the decisions that we've made as far as growing the business have all been coming back to that idea that it has to be about the service and it has to be amazing service, because you do pay more, a premium, to do Pilates than you would to, say, just pay for a membership at the gym. So it has to be a fantastic service. And we haven't done any marketing really. It's really just been through referrals. So when people feel great, they want to talk about it and tell their friends about it. And I think that that's been the biggest reason that we've grown is just through referrals and happy clients.
Now, how do your plans work? Do you have like a monthly plan, annual plan, come in by the class? How does that work?
Yeah, so we work through packages. So you purchase a package, and we have some technology that helps you purchase packages online. So it'd be fun to talk to our last guest about all of that. You just pay for the session. You prepay for it, or you can drop in.
Good information. And you're located where at again?
In South Pasadena and St. Pete.
All right. And people can get in touch with you through pilatesgroup.com. Be sure to drop the O in group, pilatesgroup.com, or give her a call, 727-343-3600. Again, 727-343-3600. So, Vicki Buck, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
And again, she is the owner of the Pilates group over there in Pinellas County. So take advantage of the exercise groups there and get kind of reverse the effects of technology that unfortunately are beginning to morph the bodies of us Americans here. We're turning into Borgs, as Josh puts it. So.
We need to work on my brain. I forgot to drop the O in her website, so I want to apologize for that. No one said nothing. They just let me roll on with it.
Nonetheless, thanks to Nick Paris, also in the 8 o'clock segment on this Tech Thursday edition, and also thank you to Dr. Chris Pittman, who's on with me at 7:30 as well. You've been listening to That Business Show. Jamie Meloni, your business becomes show business.